America. Everybody on this planet, damn near, owes our ancestors everything for the struggle, for the sacrifice. Much of which, more than much of, most of, hell, all of which that, man, we couldn't even imagine, really. You know what I'm saying? Django don't do it for you, man. Roots might do a little something. Amistad might do a little something. You know, might do a little something to give you a clear picture of what may have been taking place. And even those movies are edited. Even those movies don't have everything in them. You understand? So just another very important thing. That was just another key thing for us to understand. The story of Jesus is an ancient African prophecy. And that's why our grandparents and parents are actually still stuck in the church, because our spirit is older than our body. Since our spirit is our true self. What we call our mentality, our spirituality, that's us, really. That's us. And our souls are smarter than we are, actually. And that's why our parents are still stuck in the church, because you have heavy African doctrine that has been chained to slave manual. So this is why our parents and grandparents are still there. You know, very, very important to understand. And from Genesis to Revelations, pay attention. And this is another reason I say beware and understand the dynamics of the English language. Because from Genesis to Revelations, you have them going from the serpent to the dragon. From Genesis to Revelation, he grows from the serpent to the dragon. It's because he grows up. But understand that in ancient times, the original black people, they called us the snake people. Because it's just like breaking old habits. And ultimately being a representative in definition of not needing a physical body, always being able to come back, always being able, not needing a physical body. A snake can shed its skin, doesn't need a physical body, and also breaking old habits, as I was saying, shedding old habits, but we were called the snake people in those times. And if you pay attention to what the snake, or to what the serpent was trying to tell Eve, he was like, he don't want you to eat this because he don't want you to be gods, because he know you're going to be like him and you're going to be gods, and the serpent in Adam and Eve is actually black people, is actually ancient black people, and trying to show people that they are gods, and you're not just some human that's supposed to be just taking care of this garden, tilling to this garden. You understand? So the snake was actually trying to open their eyes. So, but if you don't understand the dynamics of the English language, you really won't understand that one. And if you don't understand African history, in depth, then you really won't understand what I just said. But it was important that I put that out there, for all my brothers and sisters with the real knowledge, you know. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that I made that great differentiation, between the serpent, growing to be, Leviathan, or the great dragon in Revelations, as opposed to, the ancient serpent people, which is us, which is, ancient African people. Every time you see Egyptian, every time you see King Tut, or any kind of Egyptian artifact, or monuments or things like that, it always has a snake. If you don't realize it, it'll always have a little serpent there. You know what I'm saying? So very interesting things. Scared you away from the serpent the same way they scared you away from the black cat. Same way they scared you away from black magic. Very, all these things when you connect the dots, you know, and they scared you away from the black cat because the black cat is segment, you know. I believe there's another name for the black cat as well, but was the guardian of the Nile, you know, you know. And also just another aspect of the God one, you know, just aspects of the God one, you know. So when and now you turn to me to Genesis 32 verses 30 and 31. I'm gonna have to check this out with y'all too, cause this was really my joint. I love this. You know, I don't know if y'all really know, but a black woman wrote The Matrix. You know, and she said this was one of the first things that jumped out to her, and just in revelations in relevance to um, the human physiology and God, you know. But right here on Genesis 32 verses 30 and 31. Dang, I thought I had it. Hold on. Genesis 32 verses 30 and 31. Alright, now, I know I said verse 30 and 31, but we'll start back. We'll start back about 27. So he said to him, "What is your name?" He said, "Jacob." And he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have struggled with God and with men, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked, saying, "Tell me your name, I pray." And he said, why is it that you ask about my name?" And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of the place Pioneer, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Yeah, man. So God called the name of the place Pioneer, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Now, Jacob says he's seen the face of God. Where he's seen God face to face, he called the place Pioneer, you know. And this is where he had his great struggle with the angel, you know. And if you understand human physiology, the pineal is the pineal gland in the human brain, in your mind, you know, the third eye. Actually, the first eye. You only have one eye. You know, the mind is the one that knows everything. The eyes don't know anything. You know, the eyes don't know shit. The mind is the only eye. The eyes only serve as windows. You know, these are only windows, lenses for the soul to look out of. You know, but the mind is the one that takes everything in, that knows everything. You know, the mind is the complete cosmic receiver of all universal messages, all intelligence, all intuition, and all spirituality. You know, so and Jacob puts it right here that I saw the face of God, you know, and I called the place Pioneer. I saw God face to face, you know, and Jacob called the name of the place Pioneer, which is the pineal gland, you know, which is the mind, you know, the greatest computer on the planet, the mind, you know, the greatest universal cosmic receiver on the planet, the mind, you know. Now you connect this in Genesis 32 verse 31 in human physiology and everything that I just told you. You connect that with 2 Corinthians 4 and 4. Bow. Check this. You connect that with 2 Corinthians 4 and 4. And you have whose minds the God of this age has blinded. See, I bet a lot of you didn't even know that there were many gods and shit, you know, and they're in the Bible. You know, Satan is a god, the devil or whatever, you know, he's the god of this world, you know. And right here, whose minds the God of this age has blinded, you know. I don't know if you'll be able to see that if I have it right, but right there, the last line. Whose minds the God of this age has blinded. And the God of this age is the dollar bill, you know. The God of this age, man, you know, blocking the pineal gland, you know, in God you trust, you know. And very interesting that they'll have the eye, the mind's eye, the pineal gland, disconnected from the pyramid, you know, disconnecting ancient African people from their true spirituality, you know. And until they understand this, they'll never be able to build again. You know, that's what this whole symbolism is about, you know. So when you take what Jacob said, you know, him seeing the face of God on pineal, and you take verse 4 out of 2 Corinthians 4:4, you know, you get the complete connection of the dollar bill now, you know.